The psychology of people who think too much. You know what's strange? Some of the most intelligent, emotionally aware people you'll ever meet are also some of the most exhausted. Not because they work harder than everyone else, not because they're lazy or anxious, but because their mind never really turns off. They replay conversations long after they end. They analyze words, tones, pauses. They imagine future scenarios that may never happen. And at 2 a.m., when the world is quiet, their brain is still asking one question: what if? Today, we're going to explore the psychology of people who think too much. What's actually happening in their brain? Why this habit develops, and what it really says about who they are. 1. What psychology calls overthinking. Psychologists don't usually use the word overthinking. They call this pattern maladaptive rumination. Rumination is when the mind keeps looping over the same thoughts, especially about the past, uncertainty, or social situations. What's important here is this: people who ruminate are not doing it because they are weak. Research from Yale University and the University of Michigan shows that many ruminators score high in intelligence and pattern recognition. Their brain is extremely good at connecting dots. The problem isn't thinking. The problem is that the system never receives a clear signal to stop. 2. What's happening inside the brain? Neurologically, overthinking is strongly linked to the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain responsible for planning, analysis, self-reflection, decision-making. In people who think too much, this region stays active even during rest. At the same time, another system called the default mode network keeps generating internal dialogue, memories, imagined conversations, self-evaluation. The result? A mind that's always online, always reviewing, always preparing responses to situations that may never occur. This is why telling an overthinker to just relax doesn't work. Their brain doesn't know how to fully disengage. 3. Why overthinking often starts early. For many people, overthinking doesn't start in adulthood. It starts in childhood, especially in environments where moods were unpredictable, mistakes had big consequences, emotional safety wasn't consistent. In those environments, the brain learns a survival strategy. Think ahead, anticipate everything, stay alert. If you can predict what's coming, maybe you can avoid pain. Seen through this lens, overthinking is not a flaw. It's an adaptation, a very intelligent nervous system doing exactly what it learned to do. 4. The 2 types of rumination. Psychologists generally identify 2 forms of rumination. First, reflective rumination. This is thoughtful self-reflection, trying to understand emotions, making sense of experiences. When balanced, this type is linked to higher emotional intelligence, deeper self-awareness, strong empathy. Second, brooding rumination. This is where things become heavy. The mind replays problems without resolution. Thoughts turn repetitive, sleep quality drops, decision-making slows. Most overthinkers move back and forth between both. And here's the dangerous part: the shift from reflection to rumination is almost invisible. 5. The illusion of mental progress. Cognitive psychologists describe something called the illusion of mental progress. When you think deeply, your brain feels productive, but often it's just looping. Why? Because dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, gets released during problem solving, even imagined problem solving. So when an overthinker analyzes scenarios, debates internally, rehearses conversations, the brain is being rewarded just for thinking, not for reaching clarity. This creates a quiet addiction to mental activity itself. 6. What overthinking really reveals about a person. Here's where psychology challenges the stereotype. A 2013 study published in Psychological Science found that people who ruminate often score higher in cognitive empathy. That means they read emotional nuance better. They notice subtle changes in tone. They sense what others are feeling, even when it's unspoken. Overthinkers often feel deeply attuned to the emotional atmosphere around them. But perception without rest is exhausting. They notice everything. They carry the weight of possibilities. And clarity becomes harder, not easier. 7. Why thinking alone can't solve everything. Here's the quiet truth psychology keeps returning to. The mind cannot think its way out of every problem. Some things must be felt, decided, or released. That's why modern therapy doesn't aim to eliminate thoughts. It aims to change the relationship to them. 8. A healthier way forward. One approach used by therapists is acceptance and commitment therapy. It teaches a skill called cognitive diffusion. Instead of open quote, "This situation is dangerous and I must solve it," close quote. The reframe becomes, open quote, "My brain is generating a concern right now," close quote. That small shift creates distance. You're no longer inside the thought. You're observing it, and observation weakens the loop. #9. The real meaning of overthinking. Overthinking is not a personality defect. It's not evidence of instability, and it's not a lack of discipline. At its core, it's a highly active mind shaped by uncertainty. A brain that learned to stay alert when safety wasn't guaranteed. The goal isn't to stop thinking. The goal is to teach that mind, slowly, patiently, that it's finally safe enough to rest. And sometimes, understanding that is exactly where healing begins.